Gaming continues to offer plenty of surprises in the form of many different ways, and I think that one of the big surprises that we get is exactly how many games are being worked on currently. And while we never really have a true idea, it is nice to get some confirmation from time to time. Again, not all gaming news is going to be good or great as of right now. I mean, we even get news that E3 is going to be basically just an online show again. What I don't understand is, how can we go and fill up arenas for basketball, football, and baseball games, but we can't fill up a place for video games? I just don't understand that. Maybe it just has to do with it being in California. I'm not really sure, but it is a little bit of a disappointment that once again 2 weeks to slow the curve has kind of turned into years and years of not being able to enjoy the things that you love. But that's neither here nor there. I don't want to get into a whole big thing with this, but it is a little bit disappointing that once again E3 is going to be without fan reactions and things like that. So I hope that we get some better news throughout the year. And I just missed the events. I missed the live reactions and the fans and things like that. It's just, I don't think it'll ever be the same, and that's a real shame. But this is more about what Sony announced. They're really kind of going after Microsoft and what Microsoft has been doing. Microsoft's strong point right now is the amount of studios that they had and the amount of games and exclusive content that those studios are making. So you can definitely see that there's a lot of interest in what's going on right now for Sony. There's a lot of question marks for Sony. They didn't go out and announce like the kitchen sink the way that Microsoft did. So there's a stark difference there. And I think that that's something that's both exciting and a little bit worrisome. But I do want to get into it, and I hope you guys are going to stick around. Hey there everyone, I'm the Crapgamer, and of course this is Crapgamer Reviews, your home for gaming news, opinions, reviews, and much more. You'll probably notice some changes around here, and hopefully that doesn't stop from leaving a like, and possibly maybe even consider subscribing if you haven't already done so. Thank you so much for choosing to spend some of your free time with me today. It means the world. You guys are amazing. I appreciate it. I hope you guys are all having a great new year so far. I know we're a little bit into it now, but still, it's always good to hear well wishes and things like that. So Sony is in the midst of sort of this weird sort of situation, right? They're getting some backlash because obviously the Days Gone, or the former Days Gone director, is talking about how, they didn't really believe in them and things like that. I already did a video about that. But, he further elaborated on David Jaffe's podcast about how they were pitched a couple of different things, and, they possibly wanted them to do something along the lines of a Siphon Filter reboot, and then they had the idea to do an open world Resistance game, which I don't know if I would want anybody but Insomniac to do a Resistance game. But again, these are very interesting things, and it seems like those ideas didn't go anywhere. When it comes to the Siphon Filter thing, that didn't go anywhere because the developers, didn't have any ideas on how to reboot that. I don't see how you don't have an idea how to reboot it. I don't know. But Siphon Filter used to be a great franchise. I don't understand the inability or the non-wanting to go back and open that up and bring it into a new age. I don't understand that at all. But regardless, I do feel like Days Gone 2 should be a thing, and it could have given them the opportunity to do much more with that world and the characters and things like that. And they could have really I felt like they could have upped the quality, and they could have got 80 plus on the meta easy and sold another 8-10 million copies. Just let's be real. But the thing is, we don't know what's coming. So they're in this weird situation where, there's a little bit of hate or questioning of Sony. And then when you look at the other side of the dice, there's some good things that are being announced, right? Like obviously PSVR 2, they announced the Horizon game for PSVR 2. It looks like Half-Life Alyx could be a PSVR 2 thing. There's a lot of good things going on. Clearly, we're starting to see a lot of these games being announced and things like that. It actually got confirmed that a new Twisted Metal is being made. Sony actually confirmed it. I'll go over that real quick. Twisted Metal, the popular vehicular combat title from the PlayStation 1 era, is coming back. Sony announced the exciting news on their CES 2022 keynote, confirming that a new series is currently in the works. Sadly, the publisher did not reveal any additional info about the project, which suggests that the series is still in pre-production or early phases. And while we don't have a lot of critical info, we do know from earlier rumors that there's also a Twisted Metal game in development, at Lucid Game Studios, who worked on another vehicular combat title, Destruction All-Stars, which was released exclusively on PlayStation 5 in February of 2021. And while Destruction All-Stars was not received well by players, Lucid Games will have another try at a game, but this time using a very popular franchise that many PlayStation fans hold close to the heart. And details of the games are pretty scarce, but it's a vehicular combat and twisted metal, so you probably know what to expect. A lot of explosions, cool weapons, and armored vehicles. Lucid Games Twisted Metal will probably launch as a PlayStation 5 exclusive. If we had to guess, probably say in 2024 or sometime among there. For me personally, I like the Twisted Metal franchise. I wish that like Jaffe would be involved in it because he is Twisted Metal, but at the same time, it's odd to me that Destruction All-Stars was so poorly received, and yet Sony would give them a chance with, you know, Twisted Metal, right? Like, I don't know, that's a little bit weird to me, but I always felt like if Destruction All-Stars in that game, if it had more content and the cars had weapons and stuff like that, it would have been much better received in the long run, but, you know, that's just me. At the end of the day, I could be right, I could be wrong, who really knows at this particular point? But I do know from a fact that right now Sony revealed that Jim Ryan has actually revealed that Sony has 17 studios working on first-party games. Sony Interactive Entertainment CEO and President Jim Ryan has revealed during a presentation at CES 2022 that the format holder has a whopping 17 studios working on first-party software. Now think about that for a second. What does that mean? I think that means, you know, obviously there's going to be a lot of games coming from the PlayStation group, right? If you think about it, so they've got behind him was Ben Studios, Housemarque, Naughty Dog, San Diego Studio, Bluepoint, Insomniac Games, Nixxes, Sony Monica, Firesprite. There's also London Studios, Pixel Opus, Sucker Punch Productions, Media Molecule, Guerrilla Games, Polyphony Digital, also Valkyrie Studios, and Asobi. So yeah, I mean, that's a lot of games being worked on right now. I think that that's a very interesting thing. If you might ask me, like, well, how many are remasters or remakes or whatever, I don't really know. None of us know the official games that are coming, but it is nice to know that they are continuing to work on a significant number of games. And not only are we seeing a significant number of games being worked on, but we're seeing Sony invest actively in their future and the studio's future, and I think that's a really smart thing to do. When it comes to, I think, stuff like Nixxes, I don't think they're probably doing anything on their own. They're only going to be porting stuff from the looks of it and helping out other studios, but anything can happen. So, you know, we'll wait and see what happens. But, you know, I do think that there's a lot of great things coming. And I think that, you know, fans are going to be very excited by what the future has to offer. Now, for me personally, I love the fact that the competition between Microsoft and Sony has kicked off into such a way that we're seeing all these great games being announced. And it's almost this, like, war of, hey, we've got all these studios working on such and such amount of games, but hey, so do we. Right, and that's what competition's all about. I try to tell everybody that. When I talk about competition, I say, hey, this is why it's so important, you know. And it's nice to see that it not only is it important, but it's something that really kind of showcases how, even though these companies are different and they have different strategies, that the games are the most important thing, and that's what matters most. And it's like great that both of these companies have the memo for that, right? Like, honestly. Because I know last gen it seemed like Microsoft had lost that memo somewhere that games are the most important thing. They're back on track now. Sony struggled at the beginning of last generation, and now they know obviously that's not something you can struggle with. This is great stuff. This is great news. I'm going to link it. You guys can let me know what you think. Please sound off. Let me know what you think. Rate, comment, subscribe. All I ask for is a simple like if you enjoy my content. It really does mean a lot. It helps out a lot. Rack 'em up, fact 'em up, crap gamer 'em up. Crap gamer out.